Back in March 2020, when COVID forced the closing of in-person schools, several articles started coming out about the anticipated learning loss. And my brother and I, like many other kids at the time, we had this windfall of free time. So we decided to take action, and we created Intutorly for the purpose of connecting these high school volunteers with underserved students who were forced out of the classroom by COVID. You can access Intutorly. All you need is a Wi-Fi connection and a device that you can download Zoom on. We understood early on that it'd be very hard to help out some of the most vulnerable communities, which are those without any Wi-Fi access. So we partnered with an organization called School on Wheels, which provides Wi-Fi hotspots and devices to students struggling with homelessness or just not having a Wi-Fi connection. We have a lot of students that are struggling, especially in the reading and math scores. The studies are continuing to show that even after the students return to the classrooms, these problems are only compounding over time. I think it's very important to go to your teacher first to ask for help, but there were definitely times when I went to YouTube, the organic chemistry tutor. Another one is Khan Academy. Their free lessons were not only super helpful to me in my academic career, but a bit of an inspiration for Intutorly. I've started to become inspired by my students through Intutorly. I tutor a 7th grader in Kabul, Afghanistan, whose education was cut off by the Taliban after they took over. And I'm very inspired by her constant persistence to get an education for herself. After her school was shut down, she started to self-study. She uses Khan Academy and the internet to find resources and just continue her education in any way possible. Hearing parents reach out to us talking about how their student was on an IEP and now no longer needs it because of the help that Intutorly provided is just really heartwarming and just motivates me to continue expanding it, trying to reach as many students as possible. Education is a passion of mine. I always knew I wanted to be part of an organization that helped people. Growing up, my parents loved to expose me to other cultures. I also travel photography. I think it's telling stories through the photos, capturing an image exactly the way you saw it. I was very inspired by Humans of New York, so I wanted to create something similar in my school community and just showcase members that I thought had very interesting stories that weren't necessarily being shared enough. That's one of the projects I'm probably most proud of. That's another interest, telling people's stories, gosh. So one of my biggest fears in high school has been not being able to get to everything that I want to accomplish. Having to balance so many different interests and pursuits and passions, and there's only so much time in the day. And I think it just comes down to finding a balance that works for you. Having to choose one thing in life as a career and not being able to integrate all the things that I'm really interested in. It's kind of a fear. It's hard trying to devise this dream job in my head. It's too much to keep track of sometimes. I'll just be like, oh yeah, I'm interested in that as well. It's the fear for the future and picking one thing, which I don't have to do. I would say the biggest step in staying motivated or keeping your curiosity is surrounding yourself with people who encourage you to follow your passions, who don't put you down, but rather share in those passions and share in that curiosity. Trying out a lot of different things is something that I love doing.